Chrissy Lampkin simply exuded confidence as she left the courthouse, and there was no sign of Jim Jones. Why? For what was revealed throughout that hearing. You never get over a secret like that. Get a voicemail, a baby, and a name. She vowed never to reveal on camera. She did, however, say it clearly and loudly tonight while crying. And you know what? The judge did not even bat an eyelid. Do you believe you've witnessed drama? Never have you witnessed a lady present his mother with DNA results and say, "And Jim, if you're watching, she told the world everything. Tell her who the father is, or I will." This isn't love and hip-hop. No more. This is real life. The truth is now known on the internet. He mumbled, "I didn't think she'd really leave," as he gazed directly into the camera, his eyes crimson and his voice shaking. He then cut the live stream, but it was already too late. The world has already witnessed the notoriously broken guy who had previously declared he would die before losing Chrissy Lampkin for months. There had been a simmering mystery behind those house doors. However, no one anticipated that Chrissy would actually do it. She secretly filed for divorce while Jim was out in Los Angeles with someone he vowed to be done with. It was recently revealed. And it wasn't just messy, it was volcanic when Chrissy found out, baby. According to insiders, Chrissy found a second phone. Yes, Jim had hidden a full burning device beneath his studio's floorboard. Who was it that was blowing up that phone, you ask? His former partner. Chrissy forewarned him about the same ex. The person when she saw her backstage at one of Jim's performances in 2018, she almost got slapped. She had returned. She also had evidence this time that Jim was telling her everything Chrissy was unaware of. Chrissy allegedly obtained screenshots of their most recent correspondence. We are discussing hundreds of texts, audio notes, and even pictures of Jim and this woman taken 3 weeks ago at a Miami hotel. Chrissy believed he was going to see his mother the same weekend. Jim seemed to chuckle when she challenged him. It was ancient stuff, he claimed. However, Chrissy had already said to the female, and the woman didn't hold back, darling. In a phone conversation between Chrissy and the ex, which was leaked, the lady said, "He told me y'all were just business, that you were living separate lives and you had your own thing going. He said that the only reason he hasn't left yet is because it would look horrible on public television." Producers from Love and Hip Hop are in complete panic mode since Chrissy didn't stop at divorce papers. And that recording is likely to come to light. She demands complete creative control over her material from the previous 2 seasons of the reality show and wants to leave it completely. The most outrageous aspect is that Jim's loved ones claim he is mentally collapsing. They say he has been phoning Chrissy constantly, sobbing on voicemails, and pleading with her to keep his reputation intact. He even said that if she took him back, he would shut down the entire show. But she's done, Chrissy. This isn't love. She allegedly told one of her pals, "I wasted 20 years believing he'd grow up. It's a shame." Then there's the financial aspect. Chrissy covertly engaged a forensic accountant months ago, according to sources, and what she discovered will rock the internet. Jim has allegedly been transferring shared funds into another account, with his mother named as the only beneficiary. It's true that Chrissy thinks Jim was preparing to flee and abandon her. According to an insider on Chrissy's legal team, she was even upset, but now she's angry. Cheating is no longer the only issue here. It's about financial, emotional, and personal betrayal on all fronts. Jim, on the other hand, is asserting that he never cheated, that Chrissy is overstating everything, and that the woman was merely a former acquaintance. If that's the case, then why did he go live on Instagram? Last night, after removing all traces of Chrissy, Jim wandered about his living room for 45 minutes, drinking directly from a bottle of Henny while pacing back and forth. "I'm not perfect," he once declared. Viewers crowded the chat, pleading with him to fight for her, dragging him for his phony tears and reminding him that this wasn't the first time he had deceived her. "But I loved her the best way I knew how. And if that wasn't enough, then I guess I failed." Chrissy's confidence. The worst part is that a live viewer said they could hear a woman's voice whispering in the background. Don't say too much. In the meantime, Chrissy has been utterly silent on Instagram, but this morning she posted a black screen on her story with just 5 words, "Protecting my peace from now on." Social media went crazy over that. Who is she? Was the ex in the house? During the live, was Jim truly heartbroken? Or was he just trying to control the narrative? The network was reportedly rushing to re-edit the current season to downplay Jim and Chrissy's scenes after a producer anonymously leaked that VH1 was worried Chrissy might reveal behind-the-scenes cover-ups, including one in which Jim allegedly paid off a crew member to delete footage of him leaving a hotel room with someone who wasn't Chrissy. This is no longer a love story. It's a ticking time bomb. Fans are now demanding that Chrissy get her own spin-off. Hashtags like #Team Chrissy and #Jim@Loyal. One thing is certain. This is not how anyone anticipated this chapter ending. However, just when we thought it couldn't get any worse, last night, a voicemail purportedly from Jim to the woman he cheated with was leaked. In it, he says something that even Chrissy's closest friends claim they can't forgive. "I'm tired of pretending. The cameras were the only reason I stayed. It's the only person I can breathe around is you." It was leaked by a Miami lady who was thought to be the same ex. Anonymously, yet Jim's voice is clearly recognizable to fans. In the background, you can clearly hear his chain clinking. "I'm sorry I lied to you. I'm leaving her soon. Just be patient." Boom! That's the last line of the message. The jaws of the internet fell. And now the same question is being asked by everyone. Was Jim ever truly in love? Or was the entire romance a TV-made charade? Chrissy remains silent. Not right now. Even at the conclusion of the live broadcast, with her heart broken, her face frozen, and 1,000 thoughts running behind her eyes, she simply sat there. A woman was mocked online, but what many failed to notice was the fire she was going to start since Chrissy refused to cry. Not now. Jim was about to experience everything she had suppressed for the past 18 years. Chrissy was already on the phone with her legal team that night while Jim slept on the couch. Phones still exploding from trolls and websites. Not just any, she contacted the same lawyers who had defended Beyoncé's cousin in that well-known case of adultery. She was really serious about it. She submitted the papers by morning. A formal, non-negotiable divorce. Gets dark at this point, cause Chrissy's decision to go public was unexpected. She didn't simply tell the Shade Room the narrative. No, she scheduled a meeting. Boom, the internet took off. Wait, affairs, plural, fans said? Chrissy had suddenly turned the story around. The smooth-talking rapper was no longer Jim. Now he was the untidy guy who lost a real one. Here's the twist, though. Jim was unaware that Chrissy was involved in any of this. Until his mother called, he continued to sit in denial, believing that this would end like all of their previous arguments. Mama Jones was furious, already agitated by the public outcry. "What are you doing, boy? You were featured on every blog by that girl looking like a clown. She is presently discussing acquiring the house in Miami." Then it dawned on him. Chrissy wasn't playing a bluff. She wasn't shouting. Unlike before, she wasn't threatening to leave or tossing shoes. She had a plan, a lawyer, and receipts as she packed everything and left this time. And Jim went into a frenzy. Sweating and stuttering, he went live once more and attempted to explain. "People are always trying to distort things, man. Chrissy is good with me. She is simply emotional at this moment. She is aware of my love for her. No one is abandoning anyone." He was pulled by the remarks. "It's already gone, bro." The papers were previously served by Chrissy. "Why are you lying? Do you guys only show us affection when we're gone?" Jim's famous buddies also began to distance themselves. Even a voicemail from Jim pleading with them not to publish unreleased material from the last reunion session. in which Chrissy supposedly confronted him off camera about texting his ex at 3 in the morning, was leaked by an unidentified love and hip-hop producer. *M. Chrissy also had receipts, which makes it worse. She used them, darling. She disclosed flight reservations, text messages, and screenshots. That same ex-girlfriend receives Cash App transfers from Jim's company account. The youngster even shared a selfie in Jim's Atlanta hotel room while sporting one of Chrissy's old fur coats. He calls me when he's bored with nail polish, yet the caption says, his girl. The last nail was that. After that, Chrissy didn't even have to say anything. The internet as a whole spoke for her. Chrissy is worthy of better. For what did she wait 18 years? She ought to have left him alone. And in the middle of all of this mayhem, one voice emerged that no one had anticipated. The son of Jim's former partner. "I'm not even trying to be disrespectful to my pops," he stated live. "But Chrissy has been more of a parent to me than he ever was. She supported me when he didn't, and now he's treating her like this. That isn't right." It was painful, honest, and unvarnished. Jim's world is falling apart. Brand agreements began to be canceled. Sponsors withdrew in silence. He's lost the sneaker collaboration he had planned. In a statement, VH1 even hinted that Chrissy would be coming back for a solo special, Jim or not. Chrissy, meanwhile, was doing well. She was photographed, beaming, shining, and holding hands with a new man as she entered a private building in Tribeca. Yes, tall, fancy outfit, bald beard. There are rumors that he is a venture capitalist. It's said that 2 months before the adultery scandal, he met Chrissy at a fundraiser. People are now wondering if Chrissy was truly taken by surprise or if she was already aware and was merely playing the cards. She played it well. Anyway, because Chrissy was busy leveling up while Jim was sitting in his apartment pacing and viewing old videos of them dancing in the living room. She only shared one Instagram story. She pours champagne into a glass and holds it up to the camera with a no-words movie grin. And since what comes next is going to alter everything, that is where part 2 finishes. Another bombshell exploded just when Chrissy thought things couldn't get much worse. It began with a call from an unidentified number. She initially disregarded it. A second call, followed by a third. Her instinct prompted her to respond. Through the line came a quiet, quivering voice. "I believe you deserve the truth, even though you don't know me. Jim and I have been dating for several months." Chrissy's knees went to the floor. The ex was no longer the focus of this. This was a stranger, someone new. She wasn't the only one, based on her voice. According to the woman on the other line, Jim had been leading a double life, crying live, saying one thing to Chrissy on social media, and then secretly leaving her side to console other women. Chrissy was unable to breathe or speak. This was no longer a heartbreak. It was humiliating. The last straw was when the unidentified woman submitted voice notes, screenshots, and even a video, only days after going live and sobbing in front of the nation for losing Chrissy. Jim was in her apartment, shirtless, smiling. There was no denying it. Now, the suffering was more than simply personal. It was open to the public. Chrissy recorded a final message to her admirers before packing her bags that evening. Her eyes were puffy but piercing as she stared into the camera in the dim light of their empty condo. "For years, I kept quiet. Took L after L, however. This is how I'm leaving. If something cannot be forgiven, don't ask me to. I gave my name, my goals, and my youth to someone who had no intention of keeping me." At 3 a.m., she uploaded the video. M7 a.m. 3 million people viewed it. Then the internet took off. "Queen, continued to be strong. We always knew you deserved better. You were humiliated by this man for years. We are now traveling with you." It was horrible when Jim woke up, though. Tears were no longer shared. By others, he was being pulled by them. Old films of him making jokes about commitment and playing off Chrissy's sacrifices as though they were commonplace reappeared. She pleaded for direction, affection, and clarity, but he offered her none. According to clips from their reality show, when the trend was finally noticed, the fans weren't forgiving this time. The hashtags went viral all over the world. Hashtag Chrissy was worthy of better. No more silence. Jim Jones was made public. Even famous people had something to say. Attempted to clap back with another live, but it failed. Tammy Rivera wrote, "The strength it takes to leave after years of loyalty. Respect." Tamar Braxton reposted Chrissy's video with the message, "Say goodbye to the clown. The circus is over." He appeared worn out, bewildered, and disengaged. Man, this isn't what you all believe. Chrissy is tripping. She allowed outsiders to destroy what we had. I didn't mean to offend her, but nobody believed me because Chrissy hadn't. Just recounted her tale. She displayed it. She waited for a man who never returned home through every scar, betrayal, and late-night waiting. It was now Jim's time to sit silently by himself and without her in public. According to insiders, Chrissy had already hired a lawyer behind the scenes, not just for the divorce, but also for compensation. 15 years. As rumors circulated that Jim's label was retreating, one close friend remarked, "She gave up her career, her time, her everything, and she's walking away with nothing. Not if I have anything to do with it." He had put off his next project. Brands are no longer available. For all the wrong reasons, no one wanted to be connected to the man who ruined the internet. Chrissy took a solo flight to Paris. She was seen by paparazzi on a rooftop terrace with a wine glass in her hand and her locks blowing in the wind. She didn't appear damaged. She appeared rejuvenated. "Everything, I choose peace. I choose me." She captioned a picture she shared later that day. That one post. 10-1 thing became clear as the credits of this scandal played out across social media timelines. Chrissy was no longer the victim. The following day, there were more rumors that she was in talks to release a memoir, that Oprah's team had reached out for a sit-down interview, and that major fashion brands wanted her as the face of resilience. Jim was still alive, still trying to explain, but the audience had left because no one wanted to hear the same. Old excuses from a man who had every chance and still fumbled the queen. She was the survivor, the woman who waited, who hoped, who fought, and then finally said enough. And Jim, well, maybe he'll get it one day. When the cameras stop, when the applause stops, when the lives go dark, and all he's left with is the echo of the woman who stood by him for decades, and the silence she left behind, because some losses you don't come back from. And you learn to live with them or not, and then all of a sudden, everything exploded. Jim Jones stood exposed. Chrissy wiped away her tears, and this time, he actually left. Since the spotlight never goes away in this game of love and treachery, if you experienced heartbreak or were shaken by the drama, hit the like button. Subscribe for the next shocking turn and leave a comment below. Should Chrissy forgive him, or is this the end? The truth is out, and it cuts deep. But let's face it, this story isn't even close to being finished.